Hey guys, welcome to Scooters. Today we're going to be doing a dual headlight mod on the Yamaha Zuma 125. As you can see over here, one of these already has the dual headlight mod done, and this one, it's got the high beam on one and the low beam on the other. So what we're going to do is change out the bulbs so they're lower wattage bulbs, and then also change the wiring so both are going to be running at the same time. The one thing you want to remember is these aren't designed to have both headlights going at the same time. So if you do this, you either want to get a battery tender and expect that you're going to have to charge your battery every time that you ride the bike and aren't riding it, or you're going to want to downgrade the headlights to from 55 watt to 35 watt or 45 watt bulbs, which is what we're going to do today. That way, the alternator can actually keep up and keep the battery charged instead of depleting the battery, because these bikes don't have kickstarts. So if your battery dies, then you're pretty much screwed and you have to stop somewhere and charge your battery. You need the bulbs, you need a wiring harness kit, which you can get from Zuma Lights, I think .com is where I got this, but you can also do it yourself very cheaply. It just takes a little bit longer and you have to make the actual wiring harness and splice the wires yourself, but it's doable. There's another video I'll link to on how to do that. You need a 5mm and I think an 8mm hex wrench, the two 35 watt lights, and we're going to make another video about how to upgrade the horn to this super loud horn. Alright, so first thing you want to do is come around to the front of the bike and undo these 4 screws that are right here. So there's one here, one here, one here, and one there, and then this middle one as well. Alright, now that those are off, we're going to get this middle one off. Now we're going to take this front bar part off. So it's just this one screw. Make sure you get the spacer. Don't lose it. Now we've got the it's a 5mm hex on the bottom here. Now that'll take that off. Now you need a 8mm hex. You know what? Come out.
You're turning the wrong way.
Try and get that off, G. Dude, those are freaking.
Down around it. For the bearing off.
All right.
Oh,
hurt my hand.
Yeah, me too.
Do you have a tube? Do you have a long tube? Give you leverage on that.
No, other way. That way.
No, if you're looking at it, it goes that way.
No, it goes
Dude, that thing's gnarly tight.
that way.
No,
for
if
sure.
you're looking at that, it'd be going to the right.
It goes left.
You've been tightening it this whole time.
This is gonna end in a big fight.
I'm only human, Harry! Anybody can make a mistake. Come on! Stop being a baby!
I might snap that handle.
So be it.
Oh.
Now that one just came right off.
Just popped.
Alright, now we gotta take off the 3 clips on each side of the front assembly for this. It's kind of hard to get to and you don't want to scratch the bike, so if you have these like panel pry bars, this is the way to go. So there's 3 clips like this where they pop in. You just want to pry that out without damaging any of the plastic. So once that one's off, so that side's pretty much off. All right, now the last step is you want to get the 10mm nut off of the front of the light. This will actually pull the light part out. All right. So once you get the front panel off, basically you want to unclip the white plastic connector to the wiring harness and then put some cardboard on the ground, lay the panel down on top of the cardboard so it doesn't scratch the lights or the bezels, unlike we did here. And then you want to undo the wiring harness clip. That's what it looks like in stock. So you undo both black ends and the white end, and then you'll be left with two rubber covers on the back side of the light. You can just pull those off. Sometimes you need to pry them with a screwdriver, and then you can take the light out. So you want to use pliers, or if you have them, channel locks work much better because you can open them up a little bit and get over top of it. But you basically just pull it out to the left and get around the little tangs that hold it in. Once you turn it, it will pop free, and then it'll look like this. So that's when you put your new light bulb in. Here's the link to the new light bulbs that you want to put in. You probably want to put in 35-watt light bulbs so you're not overtaxing your system. And then you have two options at this point. You can either put in the new wiring harness that's already pre-wired with the modification in it from ZumaLights.com. That's the only group that I'm aware of as of right now that is making these pre-wired harnesses. Or alternatively, you can design your own harness. There's a couple different ways of doing it. There's some other videos out there that I'll link to. You can probably do it for less than $10 of parts, and if you're a little bit handy and know basic wiring, it's not that difficult. But having done both, I think for 20 bucks or 25 bucks or whatever it is, it's a lot easier and faster just doing the pre-wired harness, and there's a lot less headache involved. So I would recommend that route. But here's the schematic just in case you want to build your own. All right, so now that everything's connected, you want to plug it in and then do a test run with the lights. So make sure it turns on and they start out low, and then when you flip to the high beams, they get a little bit brighter. The one thing, again, to remember is that now that you have two 35-watt bulbs that are on at the same time, that's pulling 70 watts total. That's 15 more watts than your one 55-watt bulb was pulling before, which is stock. So in essence, you're overtaxing your alternator, and you need to have a battery trickle charger and probably a new battery installed at the same time that you do this. Otherwise, it's very likely that long term you're going to have to replace the battery, or it's going to die at some point when you're riding it and it's parked. You also want to get a battery tender voltage checker at the same time, so you can periodically check the voltage before you go out, just so you know you're not going to have any issues with the battery dying. I've been running my scooter with the stock 55-watt lights and a dual headlight mod for about a year, and it runs great as long as you charge it consistently at least every month or every 5 or 6 rides. Otherwise, it's going to die at some point if you park and then don't have it charged, which is frustrating. So definitely recommend doing the 35-watt conversion. Then you really don't even need to charge it. I haven't charged it since the 6 months that I've had the 35-watt conversion, and it's running well, but it is a brand new battery, and I do check the voltage every now and then, but it seems to be doing okay in terms of the alternator charging. So all you need to do to put everything back together is just do everything in the reverse order as you did pulling it apart. Just be careful with the plastics. If you try and shove the plastic housing on, it could snap some of the tangs, so be very careful putting that in and wear gloves so you don't pinch your fingers. Be sure to like this video if you got something out of it and enjoyed it, and also check out our other videos. We've got carb cleaning videos, changing a rear tire on a Zuma, and upgrading the horn from the stock horn to a very loud truck horn. Click here for all that info. Thanks for watching. Take care.